In Avatar Fire and Ash, Jake Sully and his family face their biggest threat yet, a hostile Na'vi clan called the Ash People, led by the fierce Varang, who have rejected Eywa and teamed up with the humans. This should be an epic movie. It should feel fresh, but instead it feels like we've been here before, because we have. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So, Fire and Ash is finally in theaters after what feels like a while. The last Avatar movie came out in 2022, and I gotta say, I am conflicted. Look, I had fun. The visuals are stunning. Seeing this in IMAX 3D was a great immersive time. The action's incredible, and James Cameron still knows how to craft an experience unlike anything else. But here's the thing, this movie's already going to make bank. It's already crossed $300 million worldwide, and will probably hit that $2 billion point like the last Avatar movie. Disney and Cameron are laughing all the way to Pandora. But compared to the first two Avatar films, which, despite their flaws, felt like genuine events, Fire and Ash kind of stumbles, and I think I know why, so let's break it down. The first Avatar in 2009 was groundbreaking. The CGI, the presentation in 3D, the motion capture, the world building, it was a technological leap forward. Sure, the story was basically Dances with Wolves in space, and yeah, it had that white savior thing going on. People were basically saying this is Pocahontas in space, but it worked because it was new. We'd never seen Pandora before. We'd never seen this level of immersion, and it was beautiful and captivating to watch as a story. Then Avatar: The Way of Water came out 13 years later in 2022, and it absolutely delivered. Cameron took us underwater. He showed us the reef clans, the Metzakaina people, the Tulkun whales. They literally invented new technology to shoot motion capture underwater, something that had never been done before. The movie was longer, sure, but it earned its runtime by exploring new territory. It felt earned. Now we have Fire and Ash, only 3 years later, and here's where things start to fall apart. This movie doesn't have enough new stuff. We get the Ash People, this volcano-dwelling tribe led by Varang, played brilliantly by Una Chaplin. By the way, and they're fascinating. They reject Eywa, they're ruthless, they use these skeletal rituals and space cocaine or whatever, but we barely spend time with them. There's literally one named character from this entire tribe. One. Compare that to The Way of the Water, where we got to know Ronal, Tanawari, Tisrea, Aonang. We lived with the Metzakaina for like an hour. We learned their customs. We rode their creatures. We hung out with them. That's what made that movie special. In Fire and Ash, we meet the Wind Traders, these nomadic Na'vi with floating jellyfish airships, and they look cool, but they're in the movie for maybe 20 minutes, and then they're just gone. David Thewlis shows up, does his thing, and disappears. What a waste. And don't even get me started on how much of the movie just repeats beats from the last one. Jake gets captured by the RDA. Okay, cool, that's new. But then we spend the entire third act back at sea, fighting on sinking ships, with the Tulkun whales showing up to save the day. Again. It's literally the same climax as The Way of Water, just remixed. Same demon ships, same crab subs, same underwater fight, same Eywa ex Machina. Even the rallying the clan sequence is almost shot for shot identical to the first movie. I'm sitting there like, James, we've seen this before. Here's what frustrates me most though, because this is a beautiful movie that is very fun to watch. James Cameron knows how to make this movie paced well, so you're constantly engaged, but at the same time, the story is just like low-hanging fruit. And the dialogue is pretty bad. I mean, the way they just say bro all the time, and Jack Champion is not a great actor, but here's what frustrates me more than that. Varang should have been the main villain, not just Quaritch's hot goth girlfriend. Though honestly, respect to Stephen Lang for committing that vibe. He is a great actor through and through this trilogy, which honestly has his Colonel Quaritch being this very one-note villain, very one-dimensional, but Stephen Lang is very good in the role. Varang is interesting. She's a Na'vi who doesn't believe in Eywa. She's ruthless, she's got her own philosophy, and she represents something we haven't seen before in this franchise. But after the first hour and a half, she basically becomes like a henchwoman. She slinks off screen halfway through the movie and only shows up for a quick fight at the end before disappearing again. It's such a waste of potential. Imagine if she was the one driving the conflict. Imagine if the Ash people were the focus and we got to see their culture, their beliefs, their world. That would have been fresh. That would have justified this 3-hour runtime. Instead, we get the same RDA stuff. Parker Selfridge is back. Giovanni Ribisi doing his corporate sleaze thing, but nothing happens with him. General Ardmore, played by Edie Falco, is still around, still being evil, but we don't get any closure with her. Quaritch, again, is still alive at the end, when we're setting him up for the same conflict in the 4th movie. It's like Cameron had this incredible buffet of new ideas, but decided to just repeat leftovers from the last movie instead. Now, I will give credit where it's due. This movie moves. It doesn't feel like 3 hours, although kind of by the end I started to feel it. Cameron is a master at pacing action, and there's always something happening. But here's the problem, it's all plot, no hangout. The Way of Water let us breathe. It let us swim with the fish, learn to ride the Aloo, bond with the characters. Fire and Ash is just go, go, go. It's so plot-driven that it loses that magical quality the other films had. And honestly, it doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like an episode of a TV show, just really long. Like a really long Saturday morning cartoon. All the threads are still dangling. Quaritch is alive. The RDA is still there. Varang escaped. Spider's arc with Jake, which, by the way, that fake-out execution scene was rough, doesn't really go anywhere. There's no closure. It's just see you in 2029 for Avatar 4. And it sucks because this story is all meant to serve these beautiful visuals, which are incredible. Obviously, the ash biome, the magnetic vortex, the skeletal ritual sequences all look great. The action is some of Cameron's best. That RDA jailbreak sequence is my favorite in the movie, or one of my favorite scenes. It represents all of these moments from movies 1 through 3 coming together. But it's like the plot can't really deliver on the visuals because Cameron wants to keep this franchise going, so we never really get closure. The final battle, even if it's repetitive, still looks stunning. And the characters, when they're given time, are great. Neytiri finally gets to be a badass again. Zoe Saldana brings it. Kiri's connection to Eywa is explored more, and Sigourney Weaver, somehow playing a teenager at 75 years old, is still compelling, even if her voice sounds, let's say, seasoned. Stephen Lang is having the time of his life as Quaritch. The man is committed, and yeah, seeing him in full Ash People body paint is hilarious. Just because he's down bad for Varang, I guess I respect it. But Jack Champion as Spider, man, I'm sorry, but he just doesn't work as a lead character. Every scene with him feels like a Disney Channel original movie. The dialogue is clunky, the performance is flat, and the whole Spider is special now thing feels unearned. And here's the thing, Fire and Ash is still a good movie. It's entertaining, it's beautiful, it's fun, but it's not necessary. It doesn't push the story forward in any meaningful way. It doesn't give us enough new ideas to justify its existence. The Way of Water felt like it was building towards something. This just feels like stalling, like Cameron is stretching a story that could have been told in 2 movies across 5. And I think that's the theory, right? That The Way of Water and Fire and Ash were originally one script that got split in half. And you can feel it. This movie doesn't stand on its own. So is Avatar Fire and Ash worth seeing? Absolutely. It's still one of the best theatrical experiences you can have. The 3D is phenomenal. The world building, when it's there, is amazing. And if you love the first 2, you'll probably have a good time with this one. But it's also the weakest of the trilogy. It plays it way too safe. It recycles too much, and it doesn't deliver the kind of closure or evolution we deserve after waiting this long. James Cameron is still the king of spectacle, but this time the spectacle isn't enough to hide the cracks. I'm giving this a 6.5 out of 10. Still good, still worth your time, but a step down from what came before. My issue with Avatar is it just should always be evolving, and this doesn't feel like it's evolving. Yes, it's definitely more than the first Avatar, and a little more than The Way of Water, but that's just it. I had an issue with after the RDA breakout sequence, we kind of moved back to that Way of the Water saving the whales plot. When they got to the RDA, it felt like the Avatar movies were finally coming to a head. Like we'd get to see Jake take on Selfridge, take on Ardmore, take on the evil Na'vi and Quaritch. But none of that happens. We go back to the basics, back to what we know, and it's just unsatisfying. It's satisfying seeing Quaritch work with Jake to save their kids. That is something I liked about this movie, and I thought we would actually get to see Quaritch change, maybe have a change of heart. But that never happens. The movie goes back to its safe roots, and it just kills the momentum of this. I do think this has more going on, of course, than Avatar from 2009, but as a last movie of a trilogy, it just doesn't have that hard impact. There's a character death in this that no one even reacts to. There should be a proper mourning, a proper reaction. We don't even get that. There's a scene where Ian Garvin, played by Jermaine Clement, has a pivotal role where he helps Jake Sully. And I don't want to spoil more than that if you haven't seen the movie yet. But that thread just gets totally unresolved. What happens to that character who does such an important role for the story, and they just kind of move on? A huge issue with Avatar is it's constantly building towards sequels without giving proper closure. I wish this movie just took a little bit more risk. I think it would have been much stronger if it had done that. As it stands, this is a lot of fun. It's very safe, but that's the issue. It's low-hanging fruit, and I wish Avatar and James Cameron would step things up and give the audience a movie bigger that we deserve.